So just to some emotional questions. How do you feel here in Toronto?
Yeah, I mean, it's nice playing here again. As always, it's way too cold, but that's just part of playing chess tournaments, I guess you could say. But otherwise, yeah, it's nice to see the fans. It's a place I'm familiar with, and yeah, so far so good.
And what about you, Fabiano? How do you feel?
Yeah, I'm happy to play. It's been a lot of waiting for the candidates to start, a lot of preparation, so it's good to finally get the games going. And I mean, already the first round has a lot of fighting games, very sharp ones. I don't know what's happening between Alireza and Prague. It's very...
They just...
Oh, they drew, yeah? Okay.
Draw, yeah.
But it was a wild game. I wasn't sure what the evaluation was. So, yeah, somehow 4 draws, but they were a lot of very, very sharp positions today.
Yeah, absolutely. Do we have questions from our journalists? Sagar, please speak in the microphone.
My question is to Hikaru. You defended really well today, and you do this over and over again. What do you think makes you such a strong defender?
Well, I mean, I think it's sort of, I'm used to playing a lot of bad positions in general. I think my opening preparation is probably not as good as some of the other players, so I'm pretty comfortable just playing worse positions. And I mean, I think it's funny too, because when I was doing my training camp before this event, obviously I'd looked at this E5 line, and one of the German GMs who was helping me was very, very unhappy. He's like, why are you playing this stuff? You're just going to get a worse position and lose. So yeah, to each their own, but I mean, I don't mind defending, and I think I'm just used to it. So you get used to it, and you tend to defend as well as you can.
Any more questions? Yes, please.
Thank you to both players. How are the conditions in the hall? Do you have any disturbances by the people on the balcony? Is it different to play with these people?
Well, I mean, for me, I don't mind. It's completely fine. But you know, I think there are certain things that were discussed in the meeting yesterday between the players and the officials that were actually important, like no team members being allowed watching the games. But overall, I mean, it's completely fine for me.
And what about you, Fabiano?
I think it's not great, to be honest. The room is rather small. It's not a big deal, but it would be nicer to have more space to walk around, especially at the start of the game when there are photographers. And I'm not a fan of having live audience for this tournament in general. Like, I think in 2018 in Berlin, we did have some real issues with the live audience. I mean, today there wasn't anything. And it's not like I don't want people to see the games, but in 2018, for example, a game I played with Levon in the 7th round, someone started to take photos or like record the game or something with their phone, which was very disturbing to Levon. And thankfully there are no phones allowed here.
Devices,
no electronic devices,
absolutely.
so it's much better. But still, you can't ensure that there won't be like some disturbance in a very critical moment. For most events, you don't care too much, but the stakes are so high here that I would prefer if there were no live spectators.
Oh, yeah.
So would you consider this game a good start of the tournament, both of you?
Well, I mean, anytime you draw the first game with black, that's always good, considering how much time everyone has spent preparing for the event. So it's as good as it can be, but obviously in such a long tournament, I think generally it comes down to the last few rounds. So not that big of a deal, but sure, it's better than losing like I did last time to Fabiano.
Yeah, it's the most neutral result overall you could have in the first round. Usually you have more decisive results in the first round, but okay, it's nothing really special happened. Probably I have a little bit to regret in terms of some missed chances in this game, but as Hikaru mentioned, it's such a long event that the first round rarely has huge significance, and it's very often comes down to the last few rounds or the second half when players start to get tired and start to make more mistakes.